So finally, about a week after the early playtest that we had last week for XDefiant, we have finally heard a little bit of news from Mark Rubin. He did mention that he would be keeping us up to date not too long after that playtest actually went live. And we didn't hear anything all week, so I was starting to kind of get worried that it would be another extended period where we just don't hear anything about this game. But no, he has finally tweeted with some pretty exciting news actually, as well as going over kind of all the stuff they learned from that playtest. And so I'm going to bring all of that to you guys today in a quick little news update. Now, like I said, Mark Rubin has just tweeted, he tweeted this not too long ago now, with a big chunk of text in this image here. I'm going to remove that from your screen so you don't have to just stare at the text the entire time, but I'll read through the entire thing because there is some pretty important information in here. He says, "Hello everyone, first off, thank you to everyone who participated in our server test session. We got a lot of great data to help us tune the servers and the netcode. The team felt really good about how the test went, and we are really excited about getting to launch, and we will have more info on when that will be very soon. So let's talk about the results of the test. We know it wasn't perfect for everyone, but because of your feedback and the data we collected, we were able to identify a few things that we can tune to improve the experience. An analogy I've used when discussing our new netcode versus the old netcode is that previously we had an old kind of busted guitar, but it was reasonably tuned. Now we have a new guitar, but it needs tuning, and that's what this test helped us to do. So thank you. I want to share with you 3 of the biggest things that we learned from the test. Some of these issues we were able to tune during the live test, and some will be improved before we go live and will continue to improve after launch. Firstly, the Delta 01 errors. These may be one of the issues that was causing extra latency issues, i.e. getting shot around corners. So this fix should improve the experience, but by how much is to be determined. Secondly, the health bars, both over the player's head and in death cams, were updating later than actual damage, giving the impression that your bullets weren't doing damage. And lastly, we were not aggressive enough with our matchmaking when trying to find matches, so people had higher pings than we would have wanted. This was partially fixed during the test, so the last day of the test should have been better than the previous days. Again, thank you to everyone who came out and played in the short test. It really helped us a lot in preparation for going live, and keep an ear out for more information soon on when we go live. We can't wait to see you all in game." Now, probably 5 minutes later, he followed up with another tweet and he said, "Let me give the key takeaways from this last post. The server test session went really well from a scale and server standpoint. We have some tuning to do, pretty straightforward stuff that will be done very soon, if not done already. And lastly, release date coming very soon." So finally, it does sound as though there is some exciting news for XDefiant. It feels like this game has just been dragging on forever. It is coming closer to a year now since the initial beta that went live in June or July last year, where the game to me felt pretty ready to launch, and here we are 10 or 11 months later and we still haven't got the game. And so it is exciting to finally hear a bit of excitement from Mark when it comes to, you know, release date very soon and stuff like he said in that previous tweet. Whether that means the game is launching soon or whether that means we are just going to get the release date soon, I'm not too sure. So yeah, we'll have to just keep our eyes peeled, and obviously there will be an update on the channel once we get any more news, so you guys can rest assured that any news we get on the game will be covered right here on the channel. Now, in regards to what they learned from that playtest, there was one thing there that mentioned about the matchmaking kind of causing higher pings than they would have wanted, and it was fixed during the test. So the last day of the test should have been better than the previous days. At least for me, I can definitely say that did seem to be the issue. I was on like 45 to 50 ping most games, at least in the opening day of the test. And that's not terrible, but that's not as good as you would like. Generally, most shooters that I play, I'm on about 20 or at most 30 ping. So getting 40 to 45, that is definitely not what I'm really used to. And although it is a very minor difference, it is still not ideal. But in that final day of the test, I did notice I was getting usually around 23 to 25 ping. So it does seem they actually did fix that during the last day of the test, and that is definitely good to know that it was just to do with them essentially not being aggressive enough with the matchmaking. And so hopefully they really tighten that up. I hope this game just runs really smoothly when it comes to finding the best lobbies with the best ping, because with all the confirmation there is no skill-based matchmaking, that is essentially the only thing that matchmaking should be doing, is finding the games with essentially the best ping manageable. Like I said though, it does seem as though we will finally be getting a launch date very soon. The final sentence of the first paragraph in that initial tweet that I read out, it says, "We are really excited about getting to launch and we will have more info on when that will be very soon," with an exclamation point there. So that sounds like a very exciting sentence. It does really seem as though they are really excited to get this stuff out there. So hopefully it is not too much further away. I'd imagine the way that he's talking about it here, hopefully within a couple of weeks maybe, I would like to think at least a month at the very latest, we will finally get a release date, whether that is like really soon or whether the game is still maybe going to be launching later in the year, but we're just going to get the actual release date sooner. I'm not too sure. So again, keep your eyes peeled. There will be plenty of content on the channel, especially when it comes to any news that we get in the lead up to launch. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.